bet you wonder that how the Habsburg royal family ended up ruling Hungary and how it all started, what was the origins of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So in this video I'm gonna visit this topic and giving also a bit of a background. So long story short, Hungary was strong, but due to a few selfish aristocrats who cared only for themselves and nothing else, the country went down, and then two neighboring empires split Hungary between them. 150 years later, one of these empires had to retreat and the other took their place, ruling over the whole country. If you want to hear the long version of this story, stay tuned. The Habsburg ruled the Holy Roman Empire, which bordered the Hungarian kingdom from the west for many centuries. It was a love-hate relationship. The two states often tried to run over each other in the name of maintaining the good neighborship, so they were fairly busy to wage war against each other, periodically occupying each other's territories or sometimes sharing ruler. Then the two empires were living in peace. In the 15th century, the Ottoman Empire started to push more and more violently to the west and planned to conquer all kingdoms in its way. While the Balkan kingdoms fallen one after the other, was due to the tradition of the time, well, actually it's still a tradition today, they were not supporting each other, but rather watching the Ottoman Empire beat them and thinking that once the Ottomans occupied their neighbor, they would just go back and leave. Yeah, that did not happen. So in a fairly short time, the Balkan kingdoms have fallen and the Ottoman Empire arrived to the southern borders of the Hungarian kingdom. When the Ottoman army arrived to the border of the Hungarian kingdom, Hungary managed to stop the Turkish army at the border thanks to the Hunyadi family and their doing. Following this, Mátyás Hunyadi ruled Hungary with iron fist, keeping the aristocracy in bay, and with strict tax regime managed to maintain the strongest professional army of the continent of the time. This was called the Black Army. He also managed to conquer Vienna and extend the Hungarian kingdom westward, of course in the name of good neighborship. Once he died, the aristocracy did not want another strong ruler, so they invited a king to rule they hoped they can easily control. After the succession war, Louis II was crowned as the new ruler of the Hungarian kingdom. He married to Mary of Austria and his sister was married to Mary's brother Ferdinand, creating strong ties with the Holy Roman Empire and its royal family, the Habsburgs. During the greater part of his reign, he was the puppet of the magnates and kept in such a poverty that he was often had to pawn his jewels to get enough food and clothing. His guardians, Cardinal Tamás Bakóc and Count George Brandenburg-Ansbach, neglected him, redirected for themselves the royal revenues and distracted the whole kingdom with their endless fight and arguments. Things got even worse when Cardinal Bakóc died and the magnates István Báthori, John Zápolya and István Verbőci fought each other furiously, completely ignoring the fact that the only thing kept in bay the neighboring Ottoman Empire waiting to attack is a strong state and a strong army. So basically Hungary had a puppet king, the famous Black Army was disbanded, the border guards was unfunded, the defensive work such as castles and strongholds went unrepaired for decades. This was the state when the Ottoman Empire decided to launch a new offensive against Hungary. Louis II, not having a real power and the magnates of Hungary being too busy to fight each other, only a small army could be assembled. Around middle of July of 1526, the young king departed from Buda, determined to either fight back the invaders or to be crushed once and for all. Louis II made a tactical error when he tried to stop the Ottoman army in an open field battle with a medieval army with insufficient firearms and with obsolete tactics. On 29th of August 1526, Louis led his forces against Suleiman in the disastrous Battle of Mohacs. The Hungarian army was surrounded by Ottoman cavalry and in the center of the Hungarian, heavy knights and infantry were repulsed and suffered heavy casualties, especially from the well-positioned Ottoman cannons and well-armed and trained Janissary musketeers. Nearly the entire Hungarian royal army was destroyed in nearly 2 hours on the battlefield. During the retreat, the 20-year-old king died when he fell into the Chele stream, and due to the weight of his armor, he was unable to stand up and drowned. The Ottomans could not believe that this small army was all that Hungary sent, and they thought that the real army will appear anytime, so they were staying at Mohacs for a few more days waiting for them. After the death of Louis, Ferdinand, as husband to Louis' sister Anna, contested for the crown of Bohemia and Hungary. His bid for Hungary split the opinion of the magnate, with the majority electing John Zápolya as the new leader. Meantime, this did not stop the Ottoman Empire to keep marching forward. Bohemia fell to the Habsburgs, who also took the northern and western parts of Hungary and the remnants of the Kingdom of Croatia, while the Ottomans held the central part of Hungary and some control over the semi-independent Transylvania. Although the independent Hungarian kingdom ceased to exist, this did not stop the Hungarians to keep resisting the Ottoman occupation for another century. The Austrian branch of the Habsburgs needed the economic power of Hungary to carry on with the Ottoman wars, and they held on to it. During the Ottoman wars, the territory controlled by the Kingdom of Hungary shrank by around 60%. Despite these territorial and demographic losses, the smaller, heavily war-torn Royal Hungary remained as economically important as the Austrian hereditary lands or the Bohemian crown lands in the late 16th century. From all Ferdinand's territories, the depleted Kingdom of Hungary, whatever left of it, was one of his largest sources of revenue. The fight between the Habsburg Empire, including Hungary, and the Ottomans raged on for over a century, finally ending when the Holy League was formed and together pushed out the Ottomans from Hungary as part of the Great Turkish War. The war ended with the Treaty of Karlowitz in 1699, which handed over to the Habsburgs the Ottoman occupied parts of the Hungarian kingdom, Croatia, Slavonia, and also Transylvania remained sort of independent, but from this point it was subject to Austria. This solidified the Habsburgs' rule over Hungary and led to few uprisings and independence wars where Hungarians tried to get away from Austria unsuccessfully, eventually leading to forming the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1867. Well, if you got this far in the video, you probably could subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out any of my future videos. Thank you and bye!